What up guys, and in this super simple video I'm going to show you guys completely in Adobe Premiere how you do the shortcut version of doing the reveal text effect all in Adobe Premiere from scratch and super easy even if you are a complete beginner. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go sequence. I'm going to have this at 1080p 16:9 timeline, so I'm going to click OK. Step 2 is I'm going to have some text. So click your text icon here, click on the screen, and if you haven't subscribed yet, my name is Peter and you're watching a Broke Visionary Collective. Any text you want, any size, I'm just gonna make it big so it's much more easier to see here, right? So now you have a text layer, and the whole point, or you have to understand the reasoning behind the reveal text is all you're essentially doing is you're having a masked layer, and it's giving you the effect of the text is actually disappearing, but the text isn't actually disappearing, and all it is you have a mask layer that is hiding or is essentially covering the text that is already there. And you can do this in After Effects. It's a lot simpler, but I'm going to use this for Adobe Premiere because the reality is you can use a lot of effects in Adobe Premiere that people don't really know about. So your first tool is what you want to do is you want to go into crop. Drag your crop onto that text layer, and then the second tool is you're going to use is transform. It's under distort. Drag that onto your text layer as well, or you can double click. Now that you have both those effects onto the clip, you want to go down to your crop, double click it to see where the actual lines are, and you can either, depending on where you want this text revealed. So for the simplicity of this video, I'm going to have it go from bottom up. So I'm going to go from the bottom, and you're going to double click this. I'm going to drag it so the bottom crop is just on the bottom. Now you'll see where the effect comes into play. So if I go like this, my apologies, sometimes you have to remember that transform is on top. Okay, so you want to do the crop on the bottom because the position, this is also important, I'm going to leave this in here, leave it uncut, is that the position or the order that you put the effects into the actual layer matters. So you want to have transform on top and your crop on the bottom. Now you go to the position tab underneath transform, and you can see, look what's happening. Why is it doing that? Because the underneath effect is crop, and if you can remember, the crop is actually, it cuts off at the bottom. So if I go to this position, it's gone. So if you're familiar with keyframes, all you want to do is you put your first keyframe there, and let's say you want to go forward 3 keyframes. So you go forward 1, 2, 3, and you want to click this to undo, so you set exactly where the text originally was, and you should have your little effect. As you can see, you can space out the keyframes so you can have that effect a little longer, but there is your simple reveal text, and you didn't have to use Adobe Premiere. How easy was that? So all you have to remember is you put on your transform tool, keyframe the position, as well as go to crop, and you exactly want to see where you want to crop. And if you want to make it a little bit more fancier, you can uncheck the use composition angle, and you increase the shutter angle, so you'll give a little bit of a fake motion blur to this effect. Increase that, and as you can see, I want to have this a little lower. There you go. How easy was that, guys? That is the revealed text. And just to make it a little bit more cooler, and a little bonus tip is, now that you know that, essentially when you crop the bottom, what you can also do is you can also crop the left or top to bottom. So let's say if I crop the top, okay, so the top, you can see it is masked on the top. So instead of having the position go top to bottom, I'm going to delete these keyframes, and I'm going to have it go from top, so like that. You have the keyframe up at 139 on the y-axis. Drag it a couple bit keyframes. Now it's going to go from the top to bottom. See how that works? top to bottom. Same thing if you want to go left to right. Get rid of these keyframes. So if you want to make it go to left to right, you go to your crop effect again, and you want to squeeze that into there. Meaning you're telling Adobe Premiere that anything that the text itself, if it passes this line right here, is not going to be shown. So if you take that knowledge, what you do is you can have it go like this, all right? So you have it keyframed here, couple 5-6 keyframes, bam. That's what that motion blur. See, if it's too much motion blur, you can just go down your shutter angle. Drag this out a bit, and there is your reveal text effect. And to make it even more cinematic, you can put like a whoosh, right? So you know, whoosh. Let's just be adding my sound effects, but that is the reveal text effect. And guess what? I'm doing this all in Adobe Premiere without using After Effects and learning how to mask and creating like adjustment layers and doing all that stuff. You can do that all within Adobe Premiere, and that is a super simple shortcut of how you do these reveal mask layers, the cheat in Adobe Premiere. And make sure you check out the description. You can get my free camera guide. That is just my gift to you. If you want to understand how do you film, what kind of camera, what kind of equipment do I need, get that guide. My name is Peter. You're watching a Broke Visionary Collective, and we all start with nothing, but you can always create something. Cheers, guys.